So what are the benefits of therapy? Why would we bother going to all that trouble, the time and money it costs, the challenge of it? I always think therapy is a bit like dentistry. It's never pleasant, it's never fun, but we like the results of it. And so turning up for therapy does require some courage. It requires some strength because we have to face what's uncomfortable. It might be old emotions, it could be old memories, it could be difficult emotions. We might have been struggling with anxiety or depression for years. We might have addictive behaviours that we can't shift. It might be relationship issues, work issues, meaning of life issues, you name it. But these sorts of problems that we all have, we all are part of the club called humanity, and we all have these issues and challenges. But the benefit of working on it, the benefit of sitting with someone, telling our story, being heard, starting to unpack, moving into modalities where we actually face and feel and heal these energies, what it gives us is more range of movement. I always think of it like a joint that's maybe been sore or damaged or wounded and stuck and frozen. And when you heal up that joint, it creates this freedom of movement. And this is what psychotherapy is about. This is what our inner work is for, is to clear the blocks, clear the stuckness, clear the wounding. And remember, trauma is really just stuck energy. It's just stuck life experience that we haven't been able to process. And so we do the works to enjoy the benefits. We do the inner work of facing these things, unpacking, working through these things in order to increase that freedom, to increase that sort of space we have in our human being. And in that space, there's more room for our greater self to come through. Now, our greater self, I like to call it the soul. Think of it as your spiritual self, or that greater dimension, really, of what we are. It's the inner dimension of our superconscious mind. It's who we are beyond time and space. And when there's more room for that true self, real self, authentic self to come through, what we experience is more peace of mind, more stillness in our feelings and emotion, more space generally. There's like an expansion. A lot of my clients, when I ask them how they're feeling after a process, they say, I feel lighter somehow. I just feel lighter. And that's a beautiful, simple way of expressing that shift that happens when we clear stuck energy that's heavy and casts shadows and weighs us down. By facing it, transmuting that stuck energy, of course, there's more freedom. Even the body does better. They've worked out that there's a physical, emotional interconnection. And so when we deal with old unresolved emotions, old trapped issues, then the physical pain that can be associated with that can ease and go. In fact, sometimes physical issues clear quite remarkably when we get to the emotional component of it. And so even our physical health can improve. We can find there's more ease, more comfort in the physicality. Not always some things are physical issues that we have to, deal with. But when we go to our therapy, one of the benefits is we're clearing away the trapped emotions that may well be behind that or underneath that in the background. And that can create space for healing to happen. So physical benefits, emotional, more space, more clarity there in the mind, all these benefits. And of course, that's within ourselves. And so this flows on then. We get this beautiful ripple effect as that extends out into our relationships. So we tend to be better with other people, with our partners, with our children. It extends through into our work life. And that obviously has a ripple effect through the world. Even financially, in terms of abundance, when we clear obstacles, like there might be poverty consciousness or old fears around money, or associations there from lack or a fear of lack. As we address those sorts of things too, same thing. We're just creating more space for the natural abundance of our spiritual self to come through. Now, that may not translate into everything that we want on a human level. I might want a Maserati or something, and that may not be what is in my best interest even. But certainly in terms of having space for what we need, in terms of there being room for that abundance so that we can do what we need. It's like the resources are there for everything that we need in our creative expression, in our lives. So even on that level, things tend to flow better. So the benefits of therapy are unlimited, really. The cost of not doing inner work in our life is really like limping through our entire lifespan, held back by the ballast of our unfinished business, which is no fun. Is it easy to do? No. We make it a safe, manageable process, but it's certainly not an easy one. Is it a quick one? Well, generally not. Some things can heal pretty quickly, but generally speaking, it's a matter of persistence and determination, because things, especially from childhood, get learned very deep. They're ingrained in a very deep way into our subconscious mind-body. And so, there's no quick way to get there. In fact, we wouldn't want to open it all up too much at once, because we just get overwhelmed or just backpedal into defensive strategy and we end up almost going backwards. So I like to approach things with slow and steady incremental steps. It's better to be consistent. Like most things, it's good just to be consistent, to keep turning up for something, even if it's just doing little chunks each time. We make the greatest progress over time. Is it for the faint-hearted? No, there's got to be some maturity, some strength, some courage, because we are opening up the dark. We're going into the dark. We're going to the parts of us that are stuck in darkened places. They're all good, they're all important, but they, by definition, can be uncomfortable, threatening, even terrifying initially to look at. But with help, with some loving support, with some care, with some time, with some patience, with some compassion, there's nothing in us that won't heal. And every part of you is important. Every part, even the most darkened part, is important. And so I invite you to do the work. I invite you to get sick of things being as they are. If you're not happy with how they are, then spend some time on the vertical axis. Don't just focus on earning money and doing your life and saving for the Maserati. Do the inner work, do the reflection, get some help. There's so many wonderful healing modalities out there now that'll approach things from different angles. There's so many great people out there who are called to this kind of profession, whatever modality, whatever angle, whatever perspective they're coming from. I work as a psychologist, a psychotherapist, a hypnotherapist. I come from traditional training, I suppose, in terms of psychology, and I've done in my own personal therapies, a lot of traditional therapy. But because of my passionate interest in the spiritual dimensions of things and doing the deep spiritual hypnotherapy work since really I was a teenager, then I'm very holistic in my approach. And because I've been doing this for a long time, almost 30 years now, I'm certainly very used to going into the cavern, into the dark places. So whether it's climbing up into the branches of your spiritual life or descending into the difficulties of the Shadowlands, I'm comfortable in that. So check the website, have a look at the resources. There's plenty of free material there. There's some paid courses as well. And I also am still consulting and intend to for many years to come.